Tekken 8 has a problem. You know what the problem is? Any idea what the problem with Tekken 8 is right now? If you're in the comment section, say what the problems are. Chat, if you think you know what the problems are, you tell me as well. But Tekken Ranked has a problem. And it's ruining the game. It's actually ruining the game. It's not DCers, not disconnectors. It's the one and doneers. It's the one and doneers. They are destroying the game. Holy moly. Holy moly. Sweet. Goodness gracious. I actually dislike that more than the disconnectors. Because lack of armor king? Maybe. For some from YouTube chat. No, it's the one and done system. So why is being one and done so frustrating? Why is it so aggravating in a way that is like just spite? It just eats at your core, right? It just hurts. And it gets worse and worse the longer you play this game. Max put a video out recently about this, and I was like, oh, right, you know what? That's a good idea. I hadn't really thought about making a video about it, actually, because why? But there was a really interesting observation made, which is that this is like the worst it's ever been across many fighting games. But there are certain franchises that have this problem all the time. You know what they are? They're called Smash Brothers. They're also called Mortal Kombat. Those games have the same problem. And what do you think these games all have in common? Tekken 8 now, Smash, and Mortal Kombat. What's the similarity between all of them? They have massive, massive casual audiences. Mortal Kombat is the casual king, and Smash is the ultimate GOAT for when it comes to casuals. Casuals love that game. Casuals love Smash so much. So the more casual players you have, the more likely you're going to run into these one and doneers. Now, that's not a problem when you're in the lower ranks, right? You're trash. Everyone down there is trash. We're all trash, right? We all admit we're all trash? Yeah, we're all trash, okay? We're all trash. Right, so we established that. But as you become less trash and less trash, you would expect at a certain point you'll reach a skill level where, like, we all had to kind of work to get to this level, to this ranking, right? No one just got this for free. And you'll fight someone who, like, just barely beats you, or who you demolish. But it's more frustrating when they just barely beat you and then they leave. No rematch. Close match, almost killed them, and they leave. Why do they leave? Because they're not good enough to run another mix. They knew you figured them out. They had nothing left in the tank, and they're not interested in getting any better. That's the thing. And normally, when you think about a player who's not trying to get better, they don't get very good. But here you have a player who's fighting you in, like, the blue ranks maybe, or in the purples. I'm finding it more and more in the blue ranks. Actually, as I rank up, it's happening more often, where I'll get one and done a lot. It's very hard to get a rematch now. The better I've been playing the game, the more difficult it is to get rematches. And I think it's because the casual players, who are maybe good enough, but they're not really trying to get better. They don't care about getting better. They don't want to run a new mix-up. They just want to run their flowchart. The bad kind, not the good kind that I talk about, but the bad kind. The bullshit kind. The kind that has no branches. The kind that has no strategy. They want to run that, and the second they see you have a glimmer of, oh, you might be able to actually stop me from doing this, and I don't want to make another mix-up. I don't want to have to do the next thing. I just want to run this thing and just beat people. I just want to win. That's why they're leaving. That's why. And it was just like that in Tekken 7? Vicksburg's? Yeah. Yeah, it totally was. From what I hear. I didn't play that one a lot. But that one had infinite rematches. So like it's a different system. This is the first time Tekken's had a true first to three system. A first best of three system. Infinite rematches makes things kind of fuzzy and murky. Because then like, what, do you agree to fighting into 10? Do you fight to 5? Do you fight to 3? Like it was, I didn't even know what to do in that system. Sometimes I'd lose track. I often lose track in my my best of threes. I don't always know whether it's match 2 or 3 or 1. Sometimes I lose track. In quick match, I understand it a little bit more because they're just there to mess around. But in ranked play, there's points on the line. And basically, you should get a reward as the player who stays when your opponent leaves. Because effectively, they're saying, I would have lost. They're conceding the rest of the set to you. I think they should implement some kind of penalty for players and who don't stay into the best of 3 set. In rank specifically, you should get penalized for that. You should lose points, or your opponent should get more points. I think both should most likely happen. Your opponent should get the points, maybe a slight boost, and you should lose points as if you'd lost, but like a little bit more. Especially if you leave like on the first one. Maybe they should like prorate it based on like when you leave. Like if it's 1-1 and then you leave for the third match, you should lose points. If it's 1 and there are 2 matches left to go, you should lose even more points for that as the one who leaves. Because now you could have lost. You're basically conceding the next match and potentially the match after that, maybe. I don't know. There should be a punishment for that. You should be penalized for it. In the system. The system mechanics need to punish you for doing things like that. And I'm saying this partly because Virtual Fighter 6 is coming around the bend, and I want them to have a solution to this. Because if what we want to have happen happens, which is we're going to get a ton of new players who are casuals, if they successfully pull this off, we're going to need a solution to this problem of one-and-doners in rank, because it just sucks the joy out of it. The most exhilarating thing to do is to fight someone who just barely beats you. That's the most fun thing. I love it when that happens. It's the most fun experience in all of fighting games. And these people who are one-and-doning us are stealing that glory and joy from you. You're having your joy ripped out from you. Because of these bitch-ass motherfuckers who don't want to take their L's. Okay? That's what's happening. Oop, that's too bright. We gotta fix it. There should be a rematch bonus, or I think maybe they should be display someone's rematch rate. No, just give them a punishment for leaving. And then the one who didn't leave gets a bonus for that. This way they don't have to worry about, well, who disconnected. Like if you DC during a match, it's hard to know who DC'd. Like this, like system-wise, like on the back end, they can't tell who, like whether you disconnected or whether your opponent disconnected. It's really hard for them to figure that out. But when it comes to, shite. Oh. Messed my camera up. But when it comes to what's it called? Like rematching? That's clear. It's very clear. Who rematched and who chose to leave. No question there. So they could totally figure that one out. And I think they should. The only time you don't fight someone again is when you're not fighting at all, having me chase you through the match and I win. Yeah, it's not fun either. There also needs to be a benchmark test for like your computer must be this good to play online. Because sometimes I'll leave a match if their computer is like crappy or they're laggy.